Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
We're the Rambling Reviewers.
And we're looking at Season 1 of The Promised Neverland.
Yeah.
It's full of epic plans and children being super smart. And it's awesome.
Yeah, and there's that other thing. Oh, yeah, children are being raised in farms to be devoured.
Yeah, by demons, no less.
Yeah.
That's the premise.
I have thoughts.
Yes. I think we agree that this is an evil practice.
Yeah.
Not exactly ambiguous.
Okay, so it starts out at an orphanage. This is not a happy... It sort of looks like a happy orphanage. Except there's like super weird, super high-tech tests that you have to do. It's the year 2045. And occasionally kids get adopted, but they never send messages back.
Yeah, and whenever any story has ever had people go from place A to place B and trust us, place B is great, but they never send messages back, it always turns out to be horrible. But they only let you think on that for like 20 minutes before they get around to revealing what's really going on here.
Yeah, so, okay, there's this little girl, who are the...
Connie was the little one.
Okay, who are the main characters, though?
Oh, Emma, Norman, and Ray.
Yeah, which, kind of weird that those are the names used in, an anime, but okay.
It's like...
I don't know, I was expecting a Hikaru or something.
Right. Well, like, the things seem to be, like, English-themed a little bit, the way that the mom dresses and things like that.
Yeah, so Emma and Norman decide to follow Connie because Connie accidentally left her favorite stuffed animal in the house, and as she's going to the place where, the cars come, they know that she probably won't be coming back. So they take the doll with her and go to the place where the cars are, which is this big gate in the outside fence. And by the way, you're not allowed to go past the outside fence.
Go anywhere near it, in fact.
Yeah. So they get into the area where the cars are. They find a truck. They look in the back seat of the truck, and bam! Right there in front of you is Connie's corpse.
Yeah.
With a plant growing out of her chest that sucked out all of her blood. Yeah. They hear people coming, and it turns out it's fucking demons. And the demons, they go, this one doesn't look like it's very high quality. I don't know, I guess we'll eat it anyway. And stuff the corpse into a tank and say, oh, well, we'll come back in a little while for the next shipment.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of fucked.
Yeah. And our two kids there run back to the house, realizing what the hell they just witnessed, and Emma puts it all together very quickly. Is this whole place a farm? Yes, it is. It is a farm for human children.
Yeah, because apparently, a bit of a spoiler here, but it turns out that children's brains are at their most delicious when they're 12 years old, because that's when they're fully formed, even though that's very much not true according to neuroscience.
Standards of delicious. I don't care.
Okay, but still, that's not when they're fully formed, which is what they said.
Formed enough according to the demon standards. I don't know.
Yeah, so anyways, and then once they're of age, the demons will eat them.
Yeah, especially
I don't like this show.
Yes. Well, the good news is we get to defy the darkness.
Okay, yeah, but still, you started off with a dead child.
Yeah.
It's kind of a downer opening, man.
It is. I know.
There's a reason why I was constantly quoting uplifting pro-human statements like Earth will break before we do.
Right. Yeah, we never actually find out the identity of the demons, whether they're actually from a supernatural hell realm or they're just aliens that we call demons because it's the most convenient thing we've got. That one sister, what's her name, calls them, just quote, them at one point. I don't know if they have some other name.
Sister Rapeface?
Sister Crone.
Yeah, Crone is the second black woman I've seen in my 30 years on this planet who is in an anime. Like, seriously, when was the last time you saw a black person of any type in any anime?
There was one in Oh My Goddess, I think. Wasn't there? Or was it just a guy with, really tan skin?
I think, if you're thinking of Erd, I'm pretty sure that's just tan skin and not someone of African descent, because she was a goddess, right?
I was thinking of a guy, actually. I have only seen a little bit of this show, so I couldn't tell you where it was. Anyway, maybe I got it wrong.
But, the only other one, Claudia from Robotech.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was awesome.
So what we're saying is we need more representation in anime.
I'm usually not the one championing the call for representation, but seriously, more racial diversity would be nice in anime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just a little boring for character design,
Yeah. Anyway, so the kids, realizing that they're all grown up on a farm, then start piecing together the details of how this works. The minimum age you get harvested at, which is to say murdered, is at 6 years old. If you have test scores, though, you can live up to the age of 12. So our main characters are all high test takers, and they can expect to live to the age of 12, at which point they'll die. And they immediately start plotting means of escape. And there's like several layers to this.
God, this is like if everyone was Xanatos.
Yeah.
Much. Everyone has a plan within a plan within a plan. And the only way that it stops is if it runs up into someone else's plan that's within a plan that's within another plan, because they already predicted that this is what this person would do if under X circumstances.
Right. It's like another Death Note, which is just awesome.
Yeah.
So, like early on, their person in charge is just called Mom. Isabella is her actual name. And Isabella, there's a kid missing in the very extensive grounds that they have.
Okay, but first, just after the beginning, remember how I said they were bringing Connie's doll before they found Connie's body?
Yeah.
Well, they left the doll, so Mama knows that someone was there because she didn't bring the fucking doll, and she knows no one's supposed to go near this place. So someone brought Connie's doll to this place, except she doesn't know who. Which you'd think...
There's like 30 kids it could be.
Yeah. So, the next day, she walks out and makes sure, especially to use the tracking device in plain view of everyone to show, oh, I know where everyone is at all times.
You're right. There's subtle psychology intimidating people. And then, like, Norman realizes what she's up to with that. She's trying to send us a message in this. And then they figure out how trackers work. And, like, she can only know when she checks. So whenever she's distracted, then we can potentially be off somewhere without her realizing where we've gone. Then they start exploring the grounds, and there's a giant concrete wall at the perimeter. And like, okay, we need to like find some way to scale this. Then we need to figure out which kids we can trust. And initially, it's Emma, Ray, and Norman. And Ray is like, we should just get out, maybe just the three of us, because it's too hard to get everyone else out. And Emma's just like the die-hard optimist of the group. So screw it, we're going to save everyone. And then there's a question of what other kids can we trust to be in on the secret?
Yeah, but then they start getting worried that, oh, maybe there's a traitor. Why did they start suspecting that there was a traitor?
I forget if they had a specific reason or not. It might have just been generically like, that would be a smart thing for the enemy to do.
Yeah, Norman is like, okay, Ray, what I'm going to do is these two other kids, we're going to tell them, that we're keeping the rope, that we need to climb over this wall, but we're keeping it and telling them two different locations. And so...
I'll put a rope in both of those locations, and whichever one disappears was the rope of the traitor.
Yeah, and I'll put one under my bed and one above the bathroom, which you'd think would be a terrible location in case, we need to escape immediately. Oh no! It was chilly nights last night!
Okay.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the notion would be to move it somewhere convenient the night before the escape.
Okay, yeah, but like if the bathroom is like broken and stuff. Right. I'm just saying you need convenience before the plan. If you're planning within plans, you should at least plan for something going wrong if your plan doesn't work.
Yeah. Which he did, as it turns out.
And so it turns out that, the one under the bed was missing. So that kid is the traitor. Except it turns out that this plan was inside of another plan because he told only Ray that that's where they were... Norman only told Ray that's where he was going to put the ropes. He told two completely different locations to the actual kids. So it turns out that Ray is the traitor. Except not really. Right. But he is, but he isn't.
So Ray has been a spy for Isabella for a long time now. But he does want to escape. But he's acting as a spy to get like privileges from her, including items from the outside, which he hopes to use eventually to escape. And I think the idea was he didn't let the other two in on his identity as the mole immediately because he was worried that this would all get out. And if it did, he could save himself by being like, oh no, I was just working with them because I'm the mole. That's what I do for you, Isabella. Then it's like, okay, Norman, you figured it out. Yes, I am the mole, but I'm actually on your side.
Like a double secret agent.
Right.
And it's told that he's telling Isabella that they know that he knows, but it turns out that he knows that she knows that they know that he knows that's just as planned.
Yes.
But Isabella's getting suspicious, so she calls in, Sister Rapeface, whose name is Corone, or Corona.
Crone. Krone. Crone.
Which either could mean crone, like an old woman, or possibly a reference to Cronus, the god, one of the Roman gods.
Yeah,
or
I
Greek
guess.
gods.
I don't know. So suddenly, Isabella's got backup.
And Crone is like super athletic and also kind of insane.
Yes.
Like she has a fake baby that she holds really tight and occasionally bashes into stuff and like rips its head off.
Right. And then she's got her own plan because she's working for Isabella, but she actually wants to embarrass Isabella to get her fired so that she can take Isabella's job. And she totally rants about her plan to herself in her bedroom. Like, you better hope Isabella's not listening. Yeah, it turns out Isabella, like, knows what you're up to this whole time.
Yeah, because Isabella is, like, super smart as well.
Right. And then there's the kids all play tag, and they start doing, like, all right, let's do tag. Let's teach the little kids how to do tag better and, like, cover tracks and stuff, because eventually we'll need to run away. And then let's do tag in teams, which is practice for running in formation and keeping track of each other for an escape plan. It's like regular childhood games becoming like very important all of a sudden. I love it.
Yeah, and then it turns out that Corone like starts approaching the super smart kids because she wants to let them in on the plan so that they can escape and embarrass Isabella. But if that doesn't work, Corone also wants to let them escape so she can catch them because she's proven that she can physically catch them. Mm-hmm. So she wins either way.
And then there's this whole bit where she... Like, first off, like, just the fact that she says, hey, you know that this whole place is a farm, right? And they have to figure, like, do we say yes to that? Or have we revealed ourselves, then we just get, like, eaten immediately? But they say, okay, yes, we'll reveal to you, because maybe you'll work against Isabella. And then they meet in her room and, you know, play dumb on some things. Like, they figured out there must be tracking devices in them, or the tracker wouldn't work. And they realize that it's in their ear. And they mention, you just say, oh, where is the tracking device located? Like, they don't know. And she goes, it's in your ear. And later she's like, aha, like, you already knew that, didn't you? Because you didn't, like, put your hand up to your ear in shock. Like, I'm reading your body language at the same time. And you're like, oh, my God.
But then it turns out that that's a plan inside of a plan inside of a plan for the kids, because it turns out that there are other kids listening outside, and this is their way to prove to the other kids that this is secretly what's going on the whole time.
Right. And then there are people outside of this whole facility also putting secret plans in, because they're going through books. Actually, it starts with this freaking 4-year-old kid who is looking at a book that involved Morse code, and then notices there's a Morse code message embedded in, like, the little book stamp of the inside cover. Mm-hmm. And then they start looking up those words like harvest and children and escape or things like that. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, so this guy, whoever put all these stamps in, there must be a guy who knows that this is up, and he's trying to get, like, a message to us, like, very, very covertly. And then we're trying to figure out the state of the world. Like, you and I were watching it, too.
We were like, was there an alien invasion in 2020? Which honestly would not have surprised me.
Yeah.
Look, it's 2021. We know what 2020 was like.
Yeah.
Honestly, demons coming to harvest our children for delicious snacks would have been about par for the course.
Right. But then Ray, through his privileges, is able to get
a camera
from the outside. Like, it's manufactured stuff, including, like, a box of detergent that's got, like, you know, a person
I mentioned that it's got, like, logos and advertising on it. Right. So there has to be, it wasn't like a generic box of detergent with, right, like, a brown cover. Right. There has to be at least an audience out there who would be susceptible to advertising.
Yeah, so unless the aliens are really going the next level to fake like everything's fine, this is presumably the alien demons have conquered, like, this tiny section of the world without anyone knowing it. And they just set up their own little cult, essentially. And they get products from the regular world that still exists.
Using, Quizlings.
Yeah. Using humans that work for them.
Traders.
Right, yes. Just in case the audience didn't know what the word Quizling meant, because I didn't know that to learn that from you discussing World War Z.
Yeah. Say that to the guy who ran Vichy France for the Nazis.
I see.
But in the context of World War Z's, it's people who have gone so insane they think they're zombies and try to bite people. But it turns out that the zombies don't actually give a fuck anymore and just eat those people anyway.
Of course they do.
In fact, they're more dangerous in some ways because zombies freeze in the winter, but humans still have warm blood, so they can keep going even in the winter. And also, our mouths are apparently really nasty, so even if they bite you, you might not turn into a zombie. You might still die from infection, which almost happens to one guy.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, they're not brushing. They think they're zombies. They're not going to be brushing their teeth.
That's true.
For years at a time. It's like, brains. Oh, hold on. Mouthwash.
Yep.
Minty fresh. Brains.
Yeah. What I was going to say, though, was... Oh, yeah. So, like, and presumably this one guy on the outside knows about the farm, but is unable to convince the authorities or whoever's out there to do anything about it. And, like, they think he's crazy. So he's resorted to, like, donating books and just hoping to get these very tiny messages through to them.
Yeah. Which, a bit of a long shot. But then again, these farms have been specifically selecting for brain size. So...
Yeah. It's like, makes sense, then, why our kids are that good at their crafty plans.
Yeah. So the calendars all say it's 2045, so... But all the technology seems to be in the...
I mean, we see a car, at least. So I guess we call it 1920s at the earliest, 1950s latest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they act like it's like something out of a Victorian
Except for the
novel.
tracking devices, those are pretty modern. But even those are like... She doesn't just have a freaking heads-up display that tells her where all kids are at all times. You know?
Yeah.
Or even ID tags on the individual kids. That's the other thing, is he just gets like a dot. So I'm guessing the alien demon people do not have the greatest of technology themselves.
Which would explain why they've only been able to conquer this very small bit.
Yeah.
Through infiltration. Probably through use of their interstellar spaceships or whatever they use. Mining like gold and other precious minerals from the asteroid belt. But they're unable to actually... Maybe there's something about their physiology that prevents them from engaging us in open warfare. Or maybe mankind is just too...
Yeah, they get outnumbered, I think, is the idea there. Like, freaking, we have cruise missiles. What are you going to do?
We have cruise missiles and roughly 20 trillion guns.
Yeah. I wonder if they have interstellar spaceships, assuming they are alien, if they have spaceships in, like, any sort of traditional sense. Because if you did have FTL technology, you think you'd have better tracker technology. Or, like, cameras throughout the building, which, if that had happened, none of these plans would have worked at all.
Yeah, I kept thinking that anytime any one of the kids was, like, doing something... And they're like, let's talk quietly so Mom doesn't hear us. And I'm like, what if she's bugged the room?
Right. They mentioned it briefly,
fucked.
like, we looked for bugs, we didn't find them. Like, in theory, you could have some really small bugs.
Okay, but yeah, how these aliens work, I don't know. Best excuse I can get is that the aliens tried to invade but were destroyed covertly, maybe by like, an organization like XCOM or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it was hidden from the rest of the
and
public.
Then these are like the survivors that made like a little holdout somewhere.
Yeah, they traded advanced technology for the initial group, and then they started recruiting from the population of children that they had started farming, using the people who were trained from birth to essentially be their slaves. You know.
Right, and they've got some other technology where they got the adults have a chip planted in them that if you leave the grounds, you die.
Well, then again, that's pretty much just basically an extension of the tracking technology.
It is, yeah.
Although how they keep the battery for that charged, I don't know.
Maybe they got control over the adults, so they have you show up every so often and they plug something in. How do pacemakers get charged? I mean,
I don't know.
Right? Like, does it just last forever? Maybe.
Maybe they I don't know. We'll have to look that up sometime.
Depends on how much electricity a pacemaker needs, I guess.
Point.
But yeah, so then they can't kill Crone or Isabel, it turns out, because that thing will also send a signal if its user dies. So
the implant in their chest that kills them. Yeah. You know, it's like very multi-purpose.
Yes.
Which leads me to my initial plan, which was to feed them lots and lots of southern food until they have a heart attack and die of natural causes.
I'm sure that will be a great means of escaping, because then they would still get the alert that the person had died, and the demons would be on our tail. No. What you need to do is put them in a coma without killing them. That's hard to do, though. Mm-hmm. Or just lock them up, come to think of it.
Yeah, but depending on how fanatical I mean, Ray was willing to set himself on fucking fire.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility for these people to be so fanatical to their demon overlords that they just kill themselves.
In order to send the signal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, or they might not, or they might have some alternate means of signaling.
Yeah, I mean, we know there's a secret radio, which is another plot point. Is there's a secret room? They figure out looking at the architecture and measuring how big the walls are and stuff.
And they found a secret room that has the radio that they use to contact the outside world inside. Which, why does it have to be a full-size radio? Why couldn't it be like an iPhone?
Because they don't have good technology, like we just said.
Oh yeah.
So again, interesting demons you've got here,
Yeah, traditionally demons tend not to be that great with technology.
Traditionally, you would like cast a summoning circle or something, and then bring in a demon and talk to him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, it's neat that we, the audience, are also in the dark. Because if it was just clearly aliens and the kids were ignorant, we'd be like, okay, well, obviously aliens can do X, Y, and Z because they typically can. Now it's like, oh no, wait, we're more like having the kids' perspective now.
Yeah, plus we don't see the alien. We only see the aliens like twice, maybe 4 times over the course of the entire series.
Yeah.
Which is very effective because it increases the fear we have of them. And it means we can't go, well, obviously they're like the Signs aliens where they for some reason landed on a planet mostly covered in water when they burn when touching water. And no, that is still fucking stupid.
I want to make a reverse Signs parody thing where humans land on a planet covered in fire, and then they're like, oh no, fire, it hurts. Why did we land on this planet?
Yeah, why did you land on that planet?
So, yeah, and there's a little bit of like, you had to get the key from Isabella by pickpocketing her, and then moving the bookshelf into the wall, and then looking at the radio, and then not getting caught in your way out, which they very nearly did. This is Don and Gilda at this point.
Yeah, Don and Gilda I felt were extremely underutilized characters. They're supposed to be like 2 of the like super smarties who are supposed to be shipped out with the.
They're like a step below, I guess.
But they felt like you could have cut out Don completely from the story and it wouldn't have changed a thing.
I guess.
I mean, he pushed Gilda forward, but that was about it. I mean, emotionally pushed her forward to like help do things because Gilda is very shy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the same time, though, you wanted to believe that they could pull off what they did in the end and need the manpower for that. So someone had to establish multiples peoples going around.
Right, but they were part of the inner. They were sort of part of the inner circle, but the 3 super smarty kids didn't trust them.
Which was a plot point, and they got really upset about that after a bit. Because initially they told the Don and Gilda, so we're all victims of human trafficking. And if you get shipped out, you get sent to some bad people, whatever that means, sort of vaguely put it. And they found that shocking, but eventually they believe. And then later it's like, okay, yeah, you didn't tell us that we were going to be eaten by freaking demons. They kept making references to, like, we got to go find Connie. We're going to go, like, find wherever Connie's been taken and save her. And, like...
yeah, about that. She is super dead.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me.
So there's a big confrontation about that I think... Crone saw them talking, and this is like another thing. But eventually they're in on the plan, and then Isabella's on to Crone and tells her, hey, you just got promoted. So go on over to the gate there, and you're going to get to be a mom of a different plant, because there's like multiple plants, they call them.
Which makes me wonder what would have happened if Crone would have just been like, oh, sweet, and just took the job.
There wasn't a job, though, remember? She got to the gate and like, hey, by the way, we're going to kill you.
I thought it was, oh, you're trying to disrupt my plans even now.
Yeah, I guess it's possible they would have given her the job.
But like, if she had just accepted the job, then they'd have been like, oh shit, we didn't think you'd actually do that. So did they have to like promote another mom once Crone was dead?
Apparently they have a supply of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Just hanging out wherever they hang out.
Yeah, but Crone tries to squeal to Grandma, who is Mom's boss, and Grandma reports to the demons. So, yeah, those 3 are all burning in hell, or going to eventually.
Right. But yeah, so
9th Circle, by the way.
Yes,
that's where
the traitors,
according to Dante, that's where all the greatest traitors are.
Right. But yeah, it's like, so Crone tries to tell her, hey, the kids are trying to stage a breakout, and Isabella is not doing a good job, and, wants to betray Isabella. And the grandma's like, look, I've got my own motives here, and that is I don't want my even higher-ups to feel like I'm doing a bad job supervising Isabella, supervising these kids. So it's much easier if you just die. And I've got a friendly little demon here who can eat you and will, and he does.
Yeah. I was actually kind of rooting for Krone for a little bit there. I just wanted her to, cut off a finger of this demon.
Yeah.
I mean, weirdly enough, the way the demons kill you is by sticking a white flower into your chest, and then it blooms with red as it sucks all the blood out of your body.
Was that strictly the way they kill you, or was it they kill you and then they put the flower in your chest?
I don't know. They didn't show it on screen, but I thought that's what was happening. Which, I don't know. I would think that ripping them in half with your giant demon powers. Or, here's a thought, eat them!
I'm pretty sure they're foodies, and they really care about preparation. There was all this talk about the One, who is apparently the ultimate demon, that needs a special feast for this special ceremony. And do you notice how they put 12 years into, raising the meat? And then you have to eat the brains, apparently a great delicacy. So, these are very fancy pants villains, if you think about it.
Ooh, yes. Ooh, yes. Let me fetch my good brain-eating cup.
Yeah. So that's an interesting little side bit.
Yeah, they also tried to I don't know. They did the anime thing where they tried to show, this is the villain's backstory. So we're going to show it how she's... so you understand her, but I don't want to sometimes I don't want to understand the villain. She's helping to raise children to be devoured.
Right.
I don't want to sympathize. I don't want to understand. All I want to do is to rip and tear.
Yeah.
Rip and tear. Rip and tear your guts. The demons are huge, and that means they have huge guts.
I'm sure. But to go slightly more in order, the way that works is... They eventually ask Ray, how did you know that we live on a farm? Because I don't have infantile amnesia, turns out to be the answer.
Which, this is probably one of the least believable things, and that's including the demons.
No.
But it turns out that Ray is super duper awesome and has photographic memory, and you know how you can't remember anything before you're 3? Well, apparently he remembers being in his mother's womb.
Yeah. That's how smart Ray is. It's awesome.
Yeah, and he looks like Sasuke, so I kept calling him Sasuke because I couldn't remember his name.
I kept calling him Batman because he's the darker one of the 3, in terms of his personality,
Oh, yeah, that would make Norman Superman.
Right? And then Emma's Wonder Woman?
No, she's Green Lantern.
She's Green Lantern?
No, I'm kidding.
No, wait, is there a famous Blue Lantern? Because Hope would totally be your thing.
Saint Walker.
Saint Walker, yeah, something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, no, she's not Saint Walker. Saint Walker is not like Emma.
Okay.
It's not I can't even actually say how, but he's just not.
Okay.
But, yeah. It turns out that, oh no, all of their plans were for naught, and Mom knew all along, and she says, oh, Norman, you're getting shipped out.
Just after she breaks Emma's leg, barehanded with one blow, because it turns out she's a martial artist.
Yeah, apparently all of these moms dress like French maids and are super martial artists. Yeah, this is anime.
Yeah.
This is 100% anime.
Totally believable.
Yep.
At least she doesn't call her attacks or charge up for 10 minutes. Now you will see my ultimate form. Hey, what's bigger than French? I don't know. Now I'm a Canadian maid somehow. French-Canadian, I don't know.
She just gets bigger and is in a bounty costume. With one hand is a hockey stick and the other hand is a jug of maple syrup.
No. The stereotypes. All right.
Oh, God. We only do it because I hate Canada deeply. Look, they're awful people. They know that. I'm kidding. Mostly.
Look, honestly, us Americans compare ourselves to Canada as they're so nice and peaceful up there.
Yeah, when the worst stereotype we can give you is, you're too nice.
Right?
That's a good thing.
Right. Make some jokes about how cold it presumably is up there.
Okay, yeah, that's also a thing we do.
Anyway.
To be fair, it is cold. Anyways.
So she breaks Emma's leg. And okay, so one of the great things about this show, in addition to all the crafty plans, is their interestingly nuanced take on the layers of evil. There's absolutely evil and wrong what's happening to the kids. The story never flinches on that. But I think Isabella is a weird kind of villain who actually feels that she wants the kids to be happy and feels like she's convinced herself there's absolutely no way out. So, okay, I'll just raise them until they're 12, and that's as much as I can give them. And it's still horribly wrong for her to give up like that.
But she'll, like, talk to the kids and tell them with a smile on her face how they should just give up and enjoy the time left before they're devoured alive.
I think she believes that. And it's fucked up. But I found that very interesting. And she's... Yeah, tells them, look, Emma's leg is broken. I'll break more legs if I have to, but I don't want to spoil the product anymore if necessary. So then they're thinking, like, okay, Norman's about to get shipped out. What if, like, Norman, you could escape, but not really escape. You'll just hide in the woods and we'll, like, bring you food and stuff. And he points out, well, but then if they're missing a shipment because of me, they might ship out one of you two early. And it's like, okay, what if we break all our legs?
Because Emma's that kind of girl.
Right? And then you don't get shipped out. And then finally he agrees to go to the wall and escape because they've got a little taser to take off the tracking thing.
Ray built this with all of the favors he got for his treachery over the years.
Yeah, including like a Polaroid camera and stuff. So he sets out and gets to the wall and comes back again. And so it goes right.
He's really bad at escaping.
Yeah. So right after that wall, it turns out, you guys, the wall we've never seen the top of before, there's a ginormous cliff.
Yeah, it's like an animal enclosure.
It's like 100 feet across and like 300 feet straight down before there's like woods on the other side.
Wile E. Coyote would hesitate before going near this cliff.
Right.
And he walks off cliffs like a champ.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he does do that. He walks off falling off of cliffs like a champ.
Well,
he also walks off cliffs.
True.
Because, Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So he comes back and says, oh, there's a wall. And it turns out that in between him seeing the wall, that while he was at the wall, he didn't just look at it and go, well, I give up. No. He scouted the damn thing and put together a plan, including the assumption that Ray would set himself on fire down to the minute of when he would do it.
Yep. And it makes sense. Like, this isn't some Reed Richards thing of like, I don't know, I invented a thing in my spare time, don't ask questions. It was like, okay, yeah, he would know Ray's psychology. Like, he knows they're going to be really watched as soon as they get back, because Mom already gave him a warning. He knows that Ray is going to get all depressed about it. He knows he'd probably wait till the night before he's about to die anyway. And he tells them, the two of them, okay, if we escape, we'll have to do it by the bridge. Which apparently he did that so that if word got out that Isabella and demons would think they're escaping by the bridge. And then he secretly gives a note to Emma to tell her, actually, we're going to use zip lines and bottle rockets to zip line across the freaking thing.
At the closest point.
The closest point that he found.
Okay, and so it turns out that Emma has secretly been faking being weaker than she is. Her leg healed a long time ago, and she was faking being depressed so she could tell all the kids about what's going on at this farm place, so that she could get all the people over the age 6 years old and older out of the farm because they couldn't take care of the 4-year-olds and below. Mm-hmm. So they would give them 2 years, the other kids, 2 years to escape.
To escape and then come back with like an army or whatever they're going to plan to do to bust out everyone.
Yes. So then it turns out that her master plan to make sure that they don't get suspicious by the lack of tracker beacons, she cuts off her own ear and Ray's ear and plants them at various places in the house after she sets it on fire as a distraction.
And
but it's even better because the little kids put together, they said, okay, we know Ray's going to set himself on fire. We'll use that as part of the distraction because he's like premium top tier crops. So what we're gonna do is make a body double out of hair and ham and pork sausage. And then we're gonna set it on fire so that Emma can fake being sad so that Mom can freak out over the fact that their top tier product is on fire now and killing itself.
And then Emma gets away, and then everyone runs off with Norman, because for a while they fake you out, like maybe Norman actually did die. And then we do all these flashbacks to tell you like what really happened. And Norman's just in shock for the next hour.
It's amazing. He looks like he's been slapped in the face with a fish.
Yeah.
It is the most beautiful scene I've seen in anime. Yeah. This guy cannot understand what's going on, although I do admit that he had his ear chopped off, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's probably in shock right now.
Yeah.
Actually. Also, he was planning to kill himself, so...
Yeah, it's a terrible situation.
He's got a lot of whiplash right now, is what I'm
It's amazing the kids are as resilient as they are.
Yeah. But so, then the kids make it to the wall, create zip lines over the wall, get over... Oh my god.
And then Isabella, like, figures it all out at the end, because no one is crossing the bridge, she hears on the radio. Which is her backup radio, apparently, because they, like, stopped the getting into the main room. And also she's busy taking care of all the little kids left behind. But then she leaves them alone to run off to the wall to confront Emma, like, just as she's about to go, right?
Oh, and it turns out that the little kids were in on the plan, too.
Or one of them was, yeah.
And he's making sure that Mama stays distracted.
Right? This little 4-year-old
and it works! She doesn't get there in time to stop them.
Right! She's there just at the end, and there's Emma, the last kid to cross.
Oh, and it turns out that she wanted Emma to be the next mom of this place.
Yeah. Another layer of morality, like, hey, okay, when Darth Vader says to Luke, like, you could just join us and rule the galaxy or whatever, it comes across... I mean, obviously he's dressed like Darth Vader and he has the deep voice. He's just like, join me and be evil.
Also, I just chopped your hand off.
So Isabella's like, hey, this is just the best we can do in the world we've got. And you could be a wonderful support to other children and stuff. Like, it's more tempting that way. Ella's just like, screw you.
Well, I'm going to admit, I would be screw you too.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, it's a unique form of trying to tempt somebody.
It is more tempting than, say, Darth Vader.
Right, yeah. So, kudos for the storytelling. And then basically the only thing we're missing as Emma goes over the line is her just flipping Isabella off.
Which isn't possible because the zip lines are coat hangers.
Right, yeah, well, just right at the end, just jump and turn backwards.
Double bird!
And Isabella's like, oh shoot, I
guess I lost. Fucked up.
Yep.
And then we get a flashback to her past and how she had a person that she was like, oh, I really like this guy, and then he was sent off to be eaten by the demons, and then the current grandma was the old mom at my place, so that mom offered me a place here and stuff.
Yeah, she basically took the path that she had offered to Emma, and it turns out that Ray is her son, by the way.
Yeah, I don't really know how much that's important, but...
It's just another twist of the knife of how far she went down the path of evil. She was willing to sacrifice her own son to these demon people, right?
Yeah. I mean, it visibly pained her, but guess what? You still did it, so...
Yeah. I seem to remember a Babylon 5 episode where I was mad at the parents who murdered their own kid, and you were like, no, it was their religion. I was like, screw this! You picked up a knife and killed him. I don't care if your religion says it's okay.
Yeah, okay,
Anyway. So they get away, and... Boy, I hope I've heard wrong about Season 2.
Yeah, because I've heard Season 2 sucks.
Yeah.
Because apparently they had enough material for like 4 seasons, but they compressed it all down to 1.
Is that what happened?
That's what I heard.
I just heard it was well done. I was like, but I want to see the epic thing of them like staging to get like hundreds more kids out, or however many there are. Maybe
assemble like the scouting corps or something. Just this awesome thing of like teenagers and adults with like M16s storming the barriers with like tanks and helicopters and shit. Right. And the demons coming out and like, oh, we're so demons and stuff, and you can't possibly. And then depleted uranium sable round just punches through like an entire line of them.
Something like that.
Look, all I'm gonna say is, we created the A-10 Warthog, aka the machine that goes BERT and tanks die for a reason, and goddamn it, we're gonna invent reasons if we have to.
Because I've also, there was a whole bit where Norman like agrees to sacrifice himself, but it's made ambiguous whether he actually dies. So, I don't know. Maybe they were thinking about using him as a quisling or something. Which, maybe don't recruit the guy who's actively trying to defy you as a quisling, but okay.
Yeah, they're pretty stupid. But evil tends to be stupid, so.
Yeah. So, who knows? Maybe they'll remake Season 2 at some point, and then we'll watch it.
Yeah, but the manga's good.
Yeah, that may be what we end up doing. Even though we never reviewed a manga before.
But... Yeah, well... So if you liked Intricate Plans, this is a good one. If you like child murder, this is also a good one. Also, please stop watching us. Actually, don't. We need all the people we can get.
Okay.
We're very accepting here.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but seriously, this pissed me off for a lot of reasons. Pissed me off, but in a way that made me love it.
Right. You talk about all the darkness, but they defy darkness by the end. And that's just awesome. And competent kids, by the way, I guess there are a lot of anime of, high school kids who are amazing and stuff.
Yeah, but
this still felt fresh.
Plus, these kids, super intelligence, made it seem natural for these kids.
Right, it wasn't like they just got, an alien artifact and they got superpowers or something.
Or a more stereotypical example where the kid always knows all the answers because he's super smart and he always has to be right to show how super smart he is. No, these guys, make logical decisions most of the time.
And then, figure out who's betraying who, even within our own team. Norman didn't tell us he had never planned on escaping across that wall. He was just going to scout for us. And oh my gosh. All you well-intentioned betrayals.
Well, I'm sure that we can all take solace in the fact that the kids got away, and no doubt Isabella and Corone are going to spend the rest of eternity in the mouth of Satan in the 9th level of hell.
Now that's the lesson for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah. I guess I'm Sith King.
I'm Sonic Sense.
Signing off.